Today I want to talk to you about pruning your raspberries. It is very early spring and the garden looks depressing and everything looks dead. But now is the right time to be taking care of your raspberries. As you can see, I let it get a little out of control. There comes a time in the summer that everything just kind of goes wild kingdom out here and I just kind of give up. So we can pretty much correct most of those things that I let go now. Oh, this isn't even... Get this out of here!
I wondered if you...
Oh, I need gloves. Oh. This here is my black raspberry. Oh, look. There's a plastic bag in my landscaping. Classy. Raspberries grow on two types of canes. The first year canes are called primicanes. When they grow, they're green. There's obviously none here right now because it's not time for them to grow. But the second year, they're called floricanes, and that is when they produce fruit. Do you see the difference between the canes? One of those is gray and peeling and brown. Clearly that one is dead. This gray beast here, he's a floricane, and he's spent. He's not going to do anything else for us. All he's doing there is breeding disease and looking like garbage. So we are going to cut out, for starters, all of those. There's more, you can see them. This type of raspberry bears once a year, so they're often called June bearing. These gray spent canes can just be cut out for starters, so that's what we'll do first. Alright, so let's start chopping stuff. This here might be alive, but I don't want it because it's weak and small. Basically, my goal here is I'm going to, yeah, it was definitely alive. I'm going to end up with about 4 to 5 healthy, thick of my best looking canes. But the other consideration is how they're growing, where they're growing, because I need them to cooperate with me. I need them to grow on this fence. I need to be able to lash them to it. And if they're too far outside the row, then even if they're a really nice looking cane, I can't use them. So I'm going to start by just cutting off these obvious things. And then once we get to the healthy canes, then I'll make my decision about what to keep. All right, get in here. Cut that one. Getting them out, sometimes you have to cut them into smaller pieces, which is much safer than trying to jerk a really big one with side shoots that are going to put your eye out. This is the eyewear recommended part. Yeah, get them. You want to cut them as low as you can. You don't want to leave anything much down there because the old canes can carry disease. So, as you can see, we have these nice, big, fleshy, healthy canes. But we really only need 4. Probably 4 would be good, but I just always pretty much end up with 5 because I hate cutting it. But nature is very abundant. It will produce just as much on those as it would if you left them all. So you can either have these really thick, healthy canes, or you can have a bunch of like spindly ones that are only going to do like subpar fruiting on each cane. So basically what you're looking for is a cane that is thick and can bear the weight and can make lots of branches and support them. So something like this, even if it wasn't going off to like the neighbor's yard, I would cut it because it's, compared to the others, it's pathetic and weak. So I need something strong to bear my offspring. I need childbearing hips, something like this beautiful beast here. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to make selections based on thickness, healthiness, also direction of growth. Let's talk lateral branches. Look at that long spindly thing. Will it make fruit? Yes. Will it be great? No. So along the ones you're keeping, you want to cut them at the place they can support weight. And if they're too spindly, I would just cut them off completely. If they've got branches like that one's dead. So cut that right off. But like this here, we'd probably cut it off about there. That's about all the weight it can support. I have one red raspberry that is a different type. This one is an everbearing type. And what that means is you can potentially get 2 crops from it. As you can see, these are old raspberries that bloomed last fall. How these work is they start from the bottom, brand new cane grows, and it fruits from the ends down. So usually about half the cane will fruit that first season, and then the second half, like here, buds. Those are buds that will bloom if we leave them. So the way I will prune these is I will cut off this dead stuff because that's not going to do anything anymore. But you see, look at this big old healthy bud. Cut it down to there. Cut off all the dead stuff, and then it will produce a extra fruit. And then during the spring, it will start to grow prima canes from the middle. That'll be green. Okay, so we start the everbearing the same way as we start the June bearing, looking for dead things. This thing's 2 years old. Look at that flaky stuff down there. So it's not going to do anything else for us. We'll start by cutting all of those out of the base. On these, it can be harder to tell which canes are viable and which ones are not, because they're not as obvious. But you can start by looking at this with some cracking here, and what you can do is look to the buds down low. Like, those aren't viable. That's old dried out thing. And as opposed to like here, that's a viable bud that's going to bloom. Now, some people cut these all the way to the ground, and you can do that if you just want one harvest, but I prefer to have 2. So that's why I'm doing it this way. So there you have it. We've pruned our June bearing raspberries, this one and this one. And then the far one, that's our everbearing raspberry. And they're all pruned up and trained up on the fence so that we can get this unruly mess under control so that it's easy to pick. Bonus of letting your berry patch go crazy for too long is when you're cleaning it out, you find a lot of little tiny starts with roots on them, and you can pot those up and sell them, and you can make your aged mother do all the work for you for free.
Are we about done?
Shut up and get back to work, old woman.
Oh, okay.